in the beginning, just to give a couple of words about the format, about the event. This is the format which is called Speaker's Corner, and this is the format of our company of Stickloom, where our professionals and experts are sharing their expertise with the community, whom we really appreciate. And this is the format where we can have a live dialogue with all of you. Lucian, if you don't mind moving to the slide about Stickloom, we would like to share a couple of words about the company. So with Stickloom, we are a digital solutions providing company, and we deliver digital initiatives and digital solutions for the global companies that are among the about the Fortune 500 companies and fast-growing organizations around the world. We do have more than 4,000 professionals globally, with our delivery centers in Ukraine, Bulgaria, Spain, Poland, India, Romania, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Pakistan. And we keep on growing. We have our representatives in even wider audience at the moment. We do have different specialists in different kind of stacks and technologies in digital solutions development and product engineering. Our leading companies like eToro, like Metro Markets, Just Eat, Mercedes Pay, and much more trust us already and we keep on growing our portfolio and really excited about it. And we can do this only with an amazing specialist like Lucian, who make this happen, who make this a reality. And today we're going to have a talk dedicated to creating chatbots with AI. And with Java. We're going to have a session with duration around 1 hour and a half. Throughout this event, we're going to have the presentation shared by Lucian, live coding session as a demo. It's going to be mostly dedicated to live coding session, and you cannot hear it. You cannot hear me, or you cannot hear anything at all. Jorgan. Yes, please make sure you do join audio. Thank you, Saurabh. We're going to have 1 hour and a half. Out of it, around 1 hour and 15 minutes is going to be the presentation from Lucian. And we're going to be able to, you're going to be able to ask your questions at the end of the event. We will definitely share the recording with all of you in our follow-up email. Also, we will share the GitHub repository. We're going to share the materials Lucian is going to be referring to, because we want to make sure you do have an access to all those materials and you can apply them in your daily job. I will not take any longer now with the introduction. I would appreciate you keeping your microphones on mute. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down in the chat, and we're going to be covering them on the approach first come, first served in the live sequence at the end of the event. And I'm going to help you moderate those questions. Once again, we're going to publish the recording of the event on our YouTube channel. You get the link to this, so you're not going to miss this, all the information that you have learned today. And now I would like to introduce Lucian, who is he and why he's sharing this information with you. Lucian is our Java tech lead in the company. He has more than 10 years of experience in coding in Java, especially is very much interested in AI, machine learning. And this is his true passion. And he has this kind of experience in different kind of domains with telecom, fintech, aerospace, and much more. So Lucian, I think I'm going to pass it over to you. And the floor is yours. And I'm here for you if you need anything.
Thank you very much, Irina, for your kind words. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. I just want to confirm that you can see my screen, that you can see me, that you can hear me correctly, that everything works fine. Today we are going to spend about 1.5 hours working on a chatbot from scratch. I prepared for you a live coding session. And I'm also providing at the end of the session, as Irina mentioned, some references where you can learn more about creating chatbots. You can learn more about even Java, but mostly about chatbots and machine learning and artificial intelligence, and how to apply some of the references, some of the materials you will get to your new projects or to your business, even to your business if necessary. Yeah. As Irina mentioned, I am a software developer for more than 10 years now. I was working mostly in telecom and fintech until 2020. In the past 3 years, I'm working for an aerospace company in the United States. There, I work in production on a very large scale product that is indexing a lot of data, and the product was a search based on search engine. It was designed by and implemented by our team, and there we did a lot of things like related to natural language processing. So today's discussion it's also related to natural language processing. I'm going to implement some libraries with Java, and we'll connect to a chatbot client just to play with some questions and answers there around. And yeah, to also make like something like a POC or MVP if you want. Yeah, I think that's enough about me. Maybe worth mentioning that I'm from Romania. I'm based in Bucharest. I am graduate of University Polytechnic of Bucharest. And let's switch to our topic. So today's topic is building full stack AI chatbots with Java. So what we have here is the keyword building. That's what we are going to do in the next 1.5 hours. So we are going to write code. Then full stack means that we are going to build a backend, to build some persistence layers, also to connect to a client and to interact with our chatbot. AI means that we'll have actually, I mean, don't expect to get at the end of the session a new ChatGPT here. It will be, of course, a proof of concept, but we are going, of course, to play with some models and with some AI libraries. And the result, of course, will be what we want to achieve is to have an application that is talking to us. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the theory today, but I would still like to split my agenda in 3 parts. So the first would be like about AI and the future of web. I believe, and probably most of software developers now agree with this, that web is changing these days due to rise of AI and blockchain technologies, and chatbots are part of this phenomenon, as they will become more and more the replacement for websites, such as online shops or other customer support platforms can be easily replaced in a short time by chatbots. In the second part of the agenda, it's the part where we are writing code. So we are building this conversational full stack chatbot, and then at the end, I'd like to discuss about some architectural aspects. What I'm going to present here is just a POC, but of course there are like a lot of improvements that we can do, and I would like to make that part like a Q&A session if it's possible. And if you have questions, please prepare them, and let's discuss at the end of the presentation. Okay, what is a chatbot? I suppose everyone knows, but just if still there are some doubts, let me also put this on the screen. So there are multiple types of chatbots. Now, they are also here. The chatbots are also here for more than 10 years. A type of chatbot is just the simple chatbot which we can use just to have simple interaction with the user. Something like asking for a predefined question and then expect a predefined result. Right? Smart and hybrid chatbots are those that are raising nowadays, such as Bard, ChatGPT, and so on. So they are able to put the conversation in a context. They are able to respond and to learn from the discussion with the user. So that's the new trend of the chatbots. And what we try to build today is something like a hybrid chatbot. We will have also like simple steps, a simple question and answers, but at the same time we will try also to understand and to learn, to gain new knowledge from the interaction with the customer. Okay, and one more thing, and then we'll switch to the coding part. So what are the expectations for today? What we want to create now, it's no more than a POC, of course. There are a lot of things you can do when you design a chatbot. On the front end side, you just see like a conversation, but in the back end, there are a lot of things happening. Of course, we can do many things, but what we want to do and what's our goal for today is to feel how easy to think like a bot, right? So we want to dive deeper into understanding the complexity of the tasks. So then we can see what is possible, what is not possible, what are the limitations, what are the technical challenges, and so on, right? So in terms of what we want to create, I can also mention that we want like a general purpose chatbot. From starting, we need one. Sorry. Oh, okay. It was an accident. Someone think it's not muted. Okay. So we want to build a general purpose chatbot that will talk to us, and then if you want later, you can fork the code and you can create your own implementation that will help you to build a chat more specialized, right? Also, what we want to do is a knowledgeable chatbot. I mean, we want our chat to be able to answer to our questions and to learn in case if we give to them if we give to it to them a question and or a topic, and there is nothing in a knowledge base that can rely on, and the chatbot is not able to provide an answer, then we want somehow to seek for answers and come back later, right? Also, we want to build a smart chatbot that is analyzing our mood, that it's understanding our language, and so on. And in the end, the ultimate goal is to take some intelligent decisions. But we will see about that. That's not an easy task, especially for 1.5 hours. One more thing I want to mention is that we want to see how a low-level code, low-level architecture looks like. I mean, how is to implement a chatbot by writing code, and how is to implement and to do your own algorithms, to do your own architecture. Because nowadays there are a lot of frameworks such as Microsoft bot framework or Dialogflow, or I think Core AI has a low code product that allows you to create chat flows for chatbots. So there are a lot of frameworks, but what you have to do when you work with them, you have to learn a new you have to set a new mindset in order to implement something with that one. But as a developers, we don't want necessarily to understand how framework work and to change our mindset. We don't want to rewrite our brain in order to be able to create a product. We want to understand how things are working, mathematically speaking, and then to be able to design our own product, and of course to write the code to implement it. Okay, yeah. So with that being said, I think we can switch to the live coding session. Irina, could you please confirm one more time that you can clearly hear me, that my camera setup is okay?
Yes, we can see, can hear you well.
Okay, I think we are 35 participants now. Probably some of participants will attend this, will join a bit later. But yeah, of course, they will have the recording. They can catch up later. Okay. Let me please hide this. These controls and controls. Okay. And yeah, let's see. So actually, I will start the live coding presentation with a schema. So this schema is the architecture of the application, what we want to build, right? So our application will be starting, and now the schema is gray, but as long as we write its components, I will come back here to the architecture and I will change the color of these items, right? So we will start by creating initially a core of our application. And here in this core, we will build an agent which is handling all of our requests, right? So an agent is an entity that it's taking some questions and providing some answers, right? Or not necessarily questions. It's just an entity that takes some inputs and then returns outputs. You can think of this agent as our human agent, right? But in our case, it's like a machine agent. So behind this this agent, we will have also some other modules that help agent to do its actions. I mean, we will have a conversation lifecycle module that will analyze the state of the conversation and will decide. We are at the beginning, we are at the end, we are in the middle of the conversation. We are talking about a certain topic where we got a question here. We need to answer to something, or we want to, I don't know, to gain more knowledge and to come back later with an answer, right? Another module is the NLP module. And this is responsible with understanding the what the user input. So if a user asks us something or tells us hello, we want to process that input, and we want, of course, it's like parsing the text. We want, based on what we find there, we want to take some decision, right? And then based on these states of the conversation and on decisions we took based on the input text, then we want to cross-check that with some knowledge. I mean, some things that we have in our knowledge base. We want to apply some algorithm that helps us to understand what's the mood, what's the feeling of the user. So based on that, we can adapt and we can change our answers if necessary, or we can learn more and so on. We can improve the knowledge, right? So these 4 modules are handled by our agent, and there are also some other modules, but I'm going to come back in a few minutes to this schema. Just keep in mind we are starting with the core from the beginning and then with the client, right? Or the reverse. I think it's almost the same for the purpose of this presentation. Okay, how to start a project? So let's allocate few minutes just to discuss about the initial setup. Yeah, because this is important. I mean, from my experience on working on this dinner, I needed about 1.5 hours to write the code and about 2 hours to set up the environment, right? So for this presentation, basically, I work more on environment preparation. So this is why I don't want to spend that time now here. So in this case, I prepared the skeleton, but I want to show you how you can do that. It's like a 2-hour task. It's not difficult at all. You can easily learn that, and you can invest 2 or let's say maybe maximum 4 hours of your time, and you will get a skeleton of a chatbot. It's a great start for such a project of this complexity, and 2 or 4 hours it's not too much. Then writing code can take like a lifetime, but you can do also something like in 1-2 hours or so if you have a good setup, right? So I will start with mentioning the Telegram API. So as a client for today demo, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to use an existing client. So there are many options on the market. I chose Telegram APIs because it's really developer friendly and it's providing a lot of solutions, right? So using Telegram, you can create a bot and then you can connect to that bot, right? And you can provide, and you can take inputs and you can provide answers. That's what we want. How can we create a bot with Telegram? I will come back in a few moments and I will let you know. Okay, so as Irina mentioned, we are working on a project in Java now. So what we want to do is to write Java code, right? How to write a Java code? You go to Spring Initializer, or you can do even from scratch, but I prefer Spring as a framework. I create here my my new project, my artifact name, my description of the project, and so on. Then I select some dependencies that I want. I add them here, for example, and then I generate the skeleton of the application. And now I have, like, in this moment, I have a Spring app that I can start with to build my chatbot. We'll check also later the POM XML file to see what's the full list of dependencies I use. But Spring, that's an helpful URL you will need, of course, this one. And then there are some Apple libraries that I used, and they are available on the GitHub. So this one is Java Telegram Bot API. It's a simple library that allows us to initialize our bot, and then to set up some listeners, to send messages, to get updates, to get details about the conversations, and so on, right? So we are using this library to handle our conversations. I also used Lingua. Lingua it's also a Java framework. It's a Java library that allows us to detect the language that we are using, right? So this is based on Apache Tika and OpenNLP, and it can detect about 70 languages. Okay. Then another library that I used, it's Stanford NLP. So this one it's a rich, very powerful library that allows us to do a lot of things in terms of analyzing text and processing and understanding the input text. I use that for a sentiment analyzer. So based on the input, we can detect what's the feeling of the user. Okay, so let's go to our project. Okay. So let's review quickly the pom.xml file. Please let me know if it is visible, if you can see the code, if you want to increase the file maybe or to decrease it. Can you confirm? Okay. Just wait. Thank you. Okay, so what we have here, it's the name of our bot is Octospoon. It's just a name generated by GitHub, doesn't mean anything. So it's a Java chatbot demo. We have some dependencies. So we have here Spring Boot starter. We have Spring Boot DevTools. Okay, we have Spring Boot starter web, right? We have Spring MVC because we are also I also built an REST interface to interact with my application and to check some methods. I have JSON, right? I have this Java Telegram Bot API, the one I showed you on the browser earlier. Okay, then we have a Jersey client. I'm not sure if I even use that actually. Stanford Core NLP is the Stanford library that we can use for processing or understanding the text. Then Lingua, and now here we have some other dependencies that I didn't mention because I can show you also some references, some URLs to that. So SolarJ Solar, it's a really powerful tool that help us to store. It's kind of a NoSQL database, but it's also powered by Lucian, which means that you can you can benefit by a lot of tools that enable you to that let you to search through your text. So Solar, it's a really powerful NoSQL and search engine. Okay, I have this JSoup. It's a library that I use for text parsing. Then I have Hibernate. I'm handling some MariaDB MySQL databases with Hibernate, and also, and of course I have the MariaDB Java client here. Okay, some other plugins, nothing interesting for the purpose of our dinner. So, okay, let's see now. Let's get started. So I think we have all we need. We have the setup, we have the POM XML file. So that's generated by Spring Initializer. I added some other dependencies here. So now we are ready. As I mentioned, I already built a skeleton, so I'm not going to write all the code from scratch because it's too much. But the simple and operations that are like generic operations, like writing columns to database or doing some checking some strings or doing some strings operation or helpers, I already prepared them. So we have them here. This is the list of the packages that we are working with. So what's interesting for us now is the core part and the client part, right? So let's get it started. Here it's our Spring main main class, right? We are starting the application from here, and then let's see what we have in client, right? So in order to build our client, our Telegram client, we want to do two classes. One is to deliver the messages, another is to check the messages and process them. And that's I mean, both of them are important, but that's the more complex part, right? So let's go now to Telegram bot. Sorry, to Telegram bot. Yeah, API again. How can we create a bot in Telegram? So it's very simple. We can use another bot. It's called botfather, and we are discussing with that bot, and we create our own bot, right? We are declaring it in Telegram. So let's switch to Telegram here. I have botfather. Sorry, botfather. So all I need is to type here new bot in the conversation. Okay, let's do it again. New bot. So Telegram bot will answer to me, all right, a new bot. How are we going to call it, right? So please choose a name. Let's say demo today. Okay, let's just use something really generic. So this is the name of our bot, and then we have to use to create also a username. It's the same thing as you create your own account, right? So let's call this. Oops. Let's call this demo today one bot, and congratulations, your new bot is it's ready. So that was all. We need only 3 steps to build a bot on Telegram, to declare it there, and then at the end we will get a token that we can use. This should be a secret key. Anyone that has this key can interact with our bot, can get messages, can send updates, can send messages on that conversation, and so on. So that's basically the authentication, the token we use to interact with our bot. For the purpose of this presentation, I already created a bot. It is called Octospoon, the same as as our project. So I have it here. I already have a secret token for it. So in order to initialize our conversation, I can just type start here, and that's it. Now, if I press hi, or if I do hello or anything, my bot is just not functional at all, right? Because we have only the client part. So let's go back to the architecture and let's check the client part. We have it here. Maybe I can also zoom in a bit just to be more clear. So we have the Telegram part done. Okay, we did the setup, but what we want to do is to connect to our module, to our client module here in the application, so we can interact actually with this bot, right? So let's go back here to Octospoon. The username of Octospoon is Octospoon bot, right? Actually, that's not important. What's important it's our token. So let's check it in our application. So I have a class that is called share config, and this in this config I have I have a package, sorry, and here I have a class that is called Telegram config, right? So in order to initialize my bot, I set up also some some strings that I'm going to use later. So this is a base URL, api.telegram.org. It's the base URL that I'm going to use to interact with our user. Then we have a prefix for each bot. For each token, there is a prefix. It's bot. I think it's the only one actually, but I'm not sure. That's why I created a dedicated string constant for this. Then we have our own token. So this is the token for the bot called Octospoon, right? And we have some message types that this is the way we are marking the messages to be able to say the difference between a sent or a received message, right? So what's important for us now is the token. And going also back to the architecture, here we have the config part, right? So we already started to work on this config part. Now we have config, we have client at this state, and we have the Telegram client, Telegram mode declared as well, right? So Telegram configuration is ready. That's it. That's all we need. Let's see how we can send some messages. Okay, so let's go to Telegram delivery class. That's the class I'm going to use to generate some messages. So it's let's see, message parser. Okay, maybe we don't need this for the beginning, but what we need is to initialize our bot, right? So we have Telegram bot class that is part of this. It's part of this library that I showed you earlier in the POM XML file. So I'm creating a new Telegram bot based on this token, right? So in this moment, I have a Telegram and I have a list of updates, which is an empty list. I'm going to use it to use it later, right? For now, we don't need that. Okay, I can just, to be more clean, I can remove it from here as well. Okay, let's see how can we send some messages actually. So let's start writing our methods. So the first one will be send message. Will be a method that is going to like send messages, as I said. And now what we want to include here are some details. So how can I know what are the methods that I need to use in order to interact with Telegram? We can go back to the documentation. We have here Telegram bots, and somewhere on the right side, let me check, guide, inputs. No, one sec. Okay, maybe an API. Learner about Telegram send update. Oops. Okay, so still not what I need. One sec. Okay, I lost that page. Telegram send message API. Okay. So I need available methods. Okay, so what I have here it's update. It's the type of and there again send message. Okay, send message. I expect it's somewhere in the right side the list of all the methods, but probably because I zoomed out, I zoomed in the text, it disappeared. Yeah, so it is here, but because I increased the font, they disappear. Okay, so send message is the method. It has two required fields. It has the chat ID and it has the text. So what we want to do, just to be able to send something to our bot, is to use this chat ID and the text, and then we can send some messages, right? So it's quite easy. Then if we want to see the updates, if we want to see the messages that we receive, there is a method called updates. Sorry, it's get updates. Okay, get updates. It's a method that has all the parameters optional, so we can just get updates. In case if we want, we can set some offsets, can set some limits, and so on. These are the methods we are going to work with today. But please keep in mind, here on available methods, you will see a lot of them, right? So you have like, you can manipulate even group chats, or you can manipulate even files like special files with characters, with images, and so on. Okay, I'm trying to increase the font actually. Okay, going back to the call. So as I said, I have that that send message method, and that required a chat ID and the text, right? So let's see. Let's create send message. I'll call it send request. Okay, so I'm going to create a new send message that accepts two strings, right? So it expects a chat ID and also expects expects a text, right? So let's put it here actually. Okay, now how do we want to pass the chat ID? It's like we can bring chat ID, right? And then clear row message. This is our input message, and then we can send. We can create this one with the chat ID. Oops, sorry, chat ID and row message. Okay, so now let's see. Let's check the response of this request. Response is then response. Now, in order to take the response, we have to interact with our bot, right? So we call the bot, we invoke execute method, and we send the request we just built. I mean, we send the request, right? Okay, so here we are getting the response, and then we are testing the response. It's send the response, oops, is okay, right? What we want to do is we want to, I don't know, do some actions. Let's say for the beginning, let's print our result. All good, right? Okay. Okay, let's do also else in case it doesn't work. Let's say could not send message at this moment. Okay, I have a problem here. Let's see what the problem. The problem is that in the skeleton I already integrated this send message, and this send message it's called differently. Here, instead of the ID, the chat ID string, it expects actually to have a conversation object, right? So this conversation object is something that I already added in my skeleton. So I have here a new package that is called contacts. And in this package contacts, we have conversation, conversation line, conversations, and persons, right? Let's see how each of them are looking before using them. So conversation has all the IDs that we need in order to points to a specific conversation, right? So two users can discuss on multiple conversations. So that's why we need a chat ID. We need a dedicated ID that is allocated, and Telegram is allocating actually a dedicated ID for each conversation, for each private conversation that we have, right? Then we have the username, I mean, the person we are talking with, and the conversation state, right? The conversation state will be something that we are going to decide later, if it's the beginning, if it's the end, and so on, right? So that's the conversation. Then we have the conversation line, which means a conversation line. It's each answer or each message here. It's for us. It represents a conversation line, right? Which includes a line ID, then includes a chat ID, so we can point to the chat, includes the username, the state of the conversation, the message itself, and the type of the message, whether if it's received or sent, right? Conversations is just a list of conversation, and then person as username, first name and last name. Yeah, I think I created that in a skeleton, but probably we're not going to actually use it, or we will decide depending on the time we have, right? So here, instead of adding this chat ID, I'm using an object that is called conversation. And here I'm passing to send message conversation dot get chat ID. Okay, so now it looks fine. We have our method. We can start sending messages. Okay, let's see how we can do that. So let's go back a bit to the architecture now. We started building our config, our client, our Telegram. I also presented you the contacts, how the contacts looks like, and the conversation. Okay, I'm marking it yellow, and then it's time to introduce some helpers, right? So helpers are some methods that provide us some utilities at some point, and we also have the API. The API is our REST interface that helps us interact with the agent and with the core of the application, right? Okay, let's talk actually about the API first. So here we have another package that is called REST. And in this REST, we have some classes that are handling some methods, as I said. One of them is Telegram requests. So what I have here is a request that says hi and provide an input message. And that input message, it's sending a message to a specific conversation, right? This conversation, okay, let me put it on multiple lines maybe, just to be easier to... Okay, so here I'm sending, actually I'm wiring here, I'm auto wiring the Telegram delivery class, right? The one where we build the send message method. Then, so after injecting that one, I'm calling the method, I'm passing the conversation ID, and I will show you where you can get this conversation ID. This is the conversation, the ID of our specific conversation here, but we'll take it dynamically anyway later. And then the state, I put it like manual, I hard coded here the state, but it will automatically, it will be a variable later, right? The username, it's not interesting for us now for this request. So let's test this out. What we have, it's, okay, let me open Postman. So we have here localhost. I can say hi, and I can say test, right? So I take this path variable. Okay, the application is not running. Let's put a breakpoint here. Let's start it. Okay, let's give it 30 seconds. No, I think 2 seconds, maybe, or 3 seconds. Okay. 5 seconds, the application started. Let's call the endpoint again. So now it started in this breakpoint, right? Let's move forward. And we can already see that we send our message test here. Okay. Can someone please mute yourselves? I can hear you loudly. Okay. So what we did, we tested our send message method. It is working fine. So we are able to communicate now. We connected through this bot with our Telegram client. We checked the response. It was okay, all good. So probably it is printed to, let's see. Yeah, it's printed to the console. So yeah, everything was fine in terms of sending messages. Now, let's see how to make it a bit more smarter, right? We want to also to, here we answered, but it's totally not related to what the user already said, right? We did not hear what user said. Okay, let's improve this a bit actually. So here, instead of just adding this message to the console, I have another helper prepared. It is called message parser, right? So message parser is just a method that is printing something to our console, but it's printing nicer. So we are sending the message type and we are sending the message itself. And then it's formatting nicer. So let's do this here. Message parser. Okay, actually I have to inject this. Okay. Okay, auto-wipe, message parser. Let's import this one. So now let's use it here. Okay, message parser. Let's say print message, and it expects the message type, and it expects also the message. So what I showed you at the beginning, the message type is configured here in Telegram config, right? So we have Telegram config message. What type of message it is sent message, right? And then the message itself, it's I think it's send response. Okay, let's take it from here. So we take the response and take the message, right? Because when we send a message to Telegram, it answers back with our own message, right? I mean, it answers back with some other things. Let's see. So it's answers with a Boolean method that says that if it's okay with the message itself. And I think there are, oh no, actually I expected, oh yeah, there are more, but under message. They are like chat. So the text, the chat ID. So here is the chat. We can take the ID, we can take the username and so on, right? So here is the place where I took our ID. So I use it in my mocked REST endpoint, but I did that before just for the skeleton, right? So here is the place where you can take it. So message chat ID, right? Or you can check the Telegram documentation for that, of course. Okay, let's take the message here, and now let's print this one. Let's run the application again, right? Okay, let's test that again. So I'm sending the message test. It will stop again on the breakpoint. I'm removing the breakpoint now. I don't need it anymore. And now we have send. We have the user. Actually, the chat ID. We have the user, and we have the message there. Right? Looks nicer. Okay, cool. So, okay. Let's see. What about inbox? Right? What about getting messages from our Telegram? Because as I showed you, we have here some messages, but we did not test them. We did not create any correlation between what the user types and what we answer. Okay, so now let's see. We have this new method, read or check message inbox. Okay, so let's call it get or read messages. Okay, so in order to do that, we also need to inject this bot here. So I'm taking the same line from the delivery class. So I have the bot. Now what I want to do is for this bot, I want to set up a listener. So this listener will create like an infinite loop that it's checking from every second that is checked on that is checking for your message, right? So new update listener, okay, and this is we are overriding this process. So here we have the list of the updates. We can do whatever we want with them. Let's see. Let's do some. Okay, let's do a loop initially. So we have for update. Update in the list. So what we want to do is to print something, right? So we have the update. And from this update, we want to take message and we want to take text, right? Okay, let's test this out rapidly. Okay, this will not work actually because I just created a method. Let's make it work immediately after we start the application. So I'm adding here a post construct. Let's run this again. It's not so comfortable when you have the like font 20 here for the presentation, but okay. So what it does here, you can see, okay. Okay, let's put some inputs, some debug inputs. So it was able to read that, but it's continuously reading, doesn't stop. Okay, so what we want to do is to tell it is to tell to Telegram just not return new messages. If I read some updates, mark everything as read and don't return anything back, right? Okay, let's test it again. We have these messages. If I'm writing new message here, so if I'm writing, I have new message here, right? Okay, so I think that's clear. Now, what's important is what to do with these messages, right? Let's start thinking about them. Let's start playing with our input messages, right? So we have this update. That's what we need. We can take that list and send it to a reply generator. So we want to interact, to put our agent to interact with this one, right? So let's add the color also on the helper. Okay, maybe let's use different colors for the components of the application. And now we are starting to work with this agent, with this conversation lifecycle and NLP side, right? So let's do them. Let's make them. Okay, let's make this green. Okay. So starting to look prettier, the schema. Okay, so we have the agent. Okay, let's see what's inside our agent. So here we have the package core, right? So inside the core we have knowledge, we have lifecycle, we have NLP. Here in this agent, we have actually nothing for now, but we want to first to check what is the conversation state, right? So when an agent gets a message, it has to decide, okay, what's the state now, right? So let's see how we can do that. So let's create a conversation state here, which is, for now, it's something new. We don't know, right? How can we do that? Let's use the decision. So from the conversation lifecycle here, we want to use some methods into the agent and to take the decision, what the conversation state, right? So I'm going to the lifecycle, to this package, and here I have the decisions engine, right? The decision engine is the class I created to help us take the decision, and then the flow is it's another class that arrange all of our possible flows, right? Then the state of the application, it's a class that says what's the state of each message, right? So what we have for the state, we have main, we have priority, we have keywords, we have parent, and we have child, right? Because that's how we create context. We link a state with some parents or with some childs, right? And let's take these states and let's arrange them into some flows, right? So for now, what we have it's the default flow, default state. This default state, it's called default state. It has the priority 9999, so it has the lower priority, right? Doesn't have any parent, any child, anything, any keyword. So in case if we do not decide on any state, we will go to the default state. Otherwise, we have a list of states that is called flow, right? And in this flow, we can just declare them. You know probably those that work with other frameworks like Dialogflow or Microsoft Bot framework. There we have intents, right? So these are kind of states. You can call them whatever you want. That's our application here. We are creating from scratch. We are deciding how are we calling our items and how they work, of course, right? So we have the greetings. Okay, let's spend a bit more time on this greeting. So for greetings, we have priority 0, and then we have a list of strings that are acceptable for this state, right? So when we detect hello, let's say, okay, we know that it's a greeting, right? It's just a dumb way to do that, but it works, right? It's simple and efficient for now. Like we can improve that, of course. Let's create other states. So we have question, we have exclamation, we have follow up. I hope I don't have any typos. Anyway, just naming here, just strings and close, right? Okay, these are our workflow, and let's go to the decision engine and to play with our workflows now, right? So here, what we want to do is first to auto wire some stuff. So first of all, it's flow. And then what else we have? We have some text utils. Okay, I'll show you what that means. Text utils. And then we even have the sentiment analyzer. Sentiment analyzer. Okay. Irina, please confirm from time to time if you can hear me and if you can see my if you can see me typing smoothly.
Everything is good. We can see and hear everything well. Thank you, Lucian.
Okay, so let's play with this stay with this flow. So I will create a method that is called let's see, decide current conversation state, right? So it will be based on a string input, right? Or whatever text. Okay, so how are we going to decide that? Let's create a list first of states. So we are building a list of states, right? I think it's clear. The candidate states. And this is okay. And now let's iterate through this for each state that is part of our flow, right? So in our flow, we have this method called flow setup. We are declaring these items in the flow. So for each state in this flow, right, what we want to do, we want to check if our input text is cross-checking with anything from that state, right? So we can use a simple if text utils and then contains any word, right? This is a method that I created like a helper to help me check the text, to cross-check with the text, with the keywords from the text, right? Okay. Type of some errors, I think. No, looks fine. Okay, and if okay, wait. If that's that is the case, and then let's put on this candidate states. Let's add what? We add our current state, right? Okay. So let's see how this contain any word looks like. It's like splitting the text, right? Looping through this and returning true or false in case if the items are checked. And then let's see if this one, if candidates is empty, right? Or actually we want to check if it's not empty. Return candidate states green. Okay, and here let's see what do we want here. We want to return the lower priority, right? So I'm creating I'm using a comparator here. I'm comparing what? I'm comparing states, and I'm taking the priorities, right? And then, or else, yeah, whatever. Now, okay, and then return flow get default state. Okay. So if we do not reach any of the flows, if you do not return anything from the flow here, we are just returning the flow state, right? The default state. So in this moment, we did our we decided on our state. We can go back to our agent now, and we can use it, right? We can use it to take some decisions, right? So here, let's auto wired. Let's see, decision engine. Okay, decide on this based on what? Based on message. Oh, okay, actually, we want to put this into a method. Well, generate a reply, right? So we want to put this into a method that is generating a reply. First of all, we take the decision. This one gets a message. So based on this message, on its text actually, one sec. So I think it's name of the flow. Okay. And then parentheses, too many parentheses here. Okay. Okay. So I'm using this decision engine to analyze the text. Then I'm returning this one. Then I'm creating an object that it's called conversation, right? Let's initialize our conversation. And then let's build new conversation. And what do we need for that conversation? So we need a chat ID, we need the username, and we need the state. So we have the chat ID, we have the message. Where is that message? Chat and username, and then we have the message. No, then we have the conversation state, right? Okay, maybe the ID it's not correct here because we want to take the value, the string value for this, right? Okay, so now what we have, we got also conversation, and let's play with this conversation. So let's do a switch based on conversation state, right? And here let's see case. Let's take a simple case like question, right? So it answers. It's providing an answer, right? Okay, we don't have any answer for now, but okay, let's put it here. So let's put it as a string answer. Now, and this answer, what we want to do is to take some data from our knowledge base, right? So in order to respond to a question, we want to take something from the knowledge base. For this knowledge base, as I showed you at the beginning, I'm using Solver, right? So how I did that? Okay, there is a class, there is a file here, setup commands that you can use. You can call docker pull Solver and you can do this setup. So only in two simple steps, you are creating your Solver instance. A requirement for that is to have Docker installed, right? So here I'm checking my instance, 8983 Solver. And this is the knowledge I already have, right? So you can index anything you want here in Solver, but I created like a simple schema. I just added key and content, right? So based on a search key, I'm adding some content, right? So here on this agent, now I want to play with this to take the data from the knowledge base, right? Because I cannot answer anything if I don't have any knowledge, right? Let's inject the knowledge base. Okay, now I don't have anything yet in the knowledge base. Let's see the class, how it looks like. So the knowledge base doesn't have anything. What can I do? Okay, it's to write like think. How much time do I have? Sorry, I think I lost a bit the track. I have about 15 minutes or something like that. Okay, 15 minutes should be enough, right? So what I want to do is to take data from the my knowledge base to answer here to this question, right? So there are some ways to do that. So I created like some default messages, some answers, some I don't know messages. Okay, so maybe instead of that, let's use the greetings actually first. It's faster. So on the greetings side, we just answer with something generic, right? We just take from the knowledge base. We take the hello message, right? Okay, then default. Our default case is that answer is knowledge base default answer, right? Okay, so what I want to do after that one, I want to print to console, right? So for this one, I have message parser. Wait, I think reject it first. Okay, so let's send it to console, print message, background config. So I want to say that it's a message you receive and then put the message here. Okay, I'm printing that one. Then I'm actually delivering. And now Telegram delivery. Okay, I don't have it here. Auto wire. Telegram delivery. And so I'm linking this to our delivery engine. I'm calling send message, and then I'm passing here the conversation that we just built. Then I'm passing the state that based on the decision engine. No, actually, sorry, I'm passing answer. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. Let's try it for a greeting first, and then let's try it for a question. Right? I mean, we can go like this for hours, but 2 examples should be enough. So if I have pi here, then let's see, is it stopping? Okay. Oh yeah, because I didn't I do not invoke the generate reply. So in order to connect our messages, our input messages with this, I want to go back to our inbox, right? Here, and instead of printing the messages, what I want to do is to call the agent, right? To call my okay. We are almost done. We will see some action now. Agent. I'm calling it agent, and now let's see. Agent. Generate reply for what? For what we have in this update, I mean, or message, right? Okay. So at least for readings should work quite smoothly. And while it's building, let me go to this schema. Let's see if we have anything to update. Not yet, but soon we will have this persistence and form and solar part. So in the next iteration, we will do that. Okay, let's do some hi. Hello, human. How are you? So that's my. If I write something that it doesn't know, it's responding with the default. Sorry, I did not understand. Could you please replace? Anything I write, it's replying that. Hi. So it's already doing something, right? Let's see how it answers to a question, and that's the most interesting part. And then I think we are almost done. So we have the case greetings here, right? Let's see if we have where are we in the agents now? So if we have a question, let's do a different case. So the answer is here. Where I have So I want with yeah. Okay, it's hard coded, but that's not the point. I want to do something, some fancy things here. Let's take the answer. And what we want to do is to take a look in the knowledge base, right? So if I'm asking something from the knowledge base, I want to make sure that I'm checking with the solver, right? In order to do that in the knowledge base, we have some methods that are crossing that are checking solver, right? So first one, it's really simple method, public string get data from solver, and this data accepts some inputs in input string, right? So how we want to do that is to return solver API, solver search, and inputs based on our input string, right? Let's see how that, okay, I have an exception probably to catch here. Let's see how this solver search looks like. So I'm building the solver URL. I'm creating a query that says if content or the key looks like our string, give me the content, right? That's how it looks like. Now I have another method that is called I don't know, let's say search for more knowledge, in case if we do not have anything, search for more knowledge. And this one also accepts an input string. So it may be the case that when we do not know what to answer. Okay, let's keep this commented. For now, what we want to do, okay, Solver API. What we want to do now is to provide an answer here from this knowledge base, right? So I'm getting data from I'm getting data for Solver. I'm checking the input string, but just want to let's say to answer for a question that is that contains words that are after, let's say, after about, right? So I have a text util for this. What did that insert it? Rejected it. Util text utils. So now we can play it also with some text. We can parse them quickly. We have extract words after about, and now we have our input text. I mean the message, the text message, right? Let's catch this exception. Okay, handle the exception. So now I'm replying to this. I'm actually wait. Okay. Here, okay. In case if I have something in my server base already, and as I said to you, I have, right? We can, oh, let me try and catch this one. So we can answer from the knowledge base, right? Let's see how to improve the knowledge base, right? So tell me something about Greece. Is it stopped or doesn't have anything? Okay. Could not send a message for a moment. Okay, I think I have an issue. Let's try it again. Yeah, or probably the answer is too long. Okay. Tell me something about Greece. No. Could not send a message for this moment. Here. Okay. If I say hi human. Okay. So looks fine. I think there is an issue here in the answer. Then oh yeah, because okay, and I know why, because I didn't test if it's empty. Actually, probably doesn't know anything about this, right? So if it's empty, let's answer with something like knowledge base default, right? or I think I have something more. I don't know. Okay, I have some I don't know here. And of course, I want to Telegram delivery. I want to actually send the message, right? Because I didn't send that. So let's put a conversation and add so here. Yeah, so it decides probably, but it's just sending something empty. Okay, tell me something about Greece. Okay, at this time, I do not possess the necessary knowledge, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see how to improve that one. And that's the last thing. I hope you can allow me another 5 minutes, Irina. Is that fine?
Of course.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope everyone in the audience will stay with us. Anyway, we have this recording, so let me do my things here. So let's see, at this point, we do not have anything. So it answers with I don't know, right? What we want to do is to improve our knowledge base, right? So we want to provide the opportunity to the backend to create another answer, right? So we go to knowledge base and we want to search for more, right? And I said that I will come back to you. I'll come back to that one. Search for more knowledge. Okay, so we want to have another method that is checking for some more knowledge, but which is related to our text. Like, what can we do here? Okay, let's go to knowledge base. Let's uncomment this part. I hope I use the same string. Okay, let's overwrite it. Okay, and now here I have search for more knowledge. Okay, how can I do that? Let's say, for example, where do you want to search? When you need some information, where do you look for? Right? You look for Wikipedia or you look on Google, right? So so first of all, let's do something something like this. Let's decide on a keyword we want to search for, right? So we have our keyword. And here I have a text util as well. Text util that's doing what? Extract words after a vowel, right? So I'm using on the input string this one. I obtain my keyword and then I want to generate an answer that I'm returning. So this answer will do what? Will do a text analyzer. Will okay, no, maybe let's start it slowly. So we'll do some Wikipedia, get content from Wikipedia based on what? Based on our keyword, right? So how this method looks like? It's simple. Don't imagine it's like rocket science. I build it like on my own. It's easy. You can just take the wiki base URL, you concatenate it with the input string, then you can use this JSoup library to go and take the content right into a document, the content from Wikipedia, search for this CSS query you can find on Google where to search for, and then take the text and return the content from Wikipedia, right? Now, we take that one, but the thing is we will have like, if I'm searching for Greece, I will get like 2,000 sentences or something like that, right? So what we want to do is to analyze that text and to extract some relevant sentences, right? So if I want to extract some relevant phrases, I used a algorithm that is called TF-IDF, right? So what does it? How is this working? You give a text, a word, and the number of sentences. In our case, it's only one. I'm tokenizing into sentences that text. Then I'm taking each text one by one, I'm ranking them, and here I'm comparing and I'm providing the number of sentences required. In our case, 1. So I'm returning the most relevant sentence in the Wikipedia page, right? So let's use that one. Text util extract words. Oh, sorry, not this one. Text analyzer. Extract relevant sentences, and I'm applying this to our Wikipedia content. I have some exceptions here to handle. Okay. What we want to do additionally, so we have the input, we have the keyword, right? And we have what? We want to return only one sentence. What I did wrong. Okay. So I'm returning a list actually here. So I'm getting only the first item from the list. So I make sure it's returning a string, and then I return answer, right? Okay, this doesn't solve entirely our problem, because we just looked on the Wikipedia, we found something, we extracted the most relevant sentence, but we want to do something with that, right? So what we want to do, okay, I have some warnings, but okay, yeah, it just sonar that says that I can return this directly. Okay, I can do that, but what I also want to do is to send it to Solr, right? I want to do a Solr API call, and I want to index that one. And here I want to provide the new answer and the keyword, right? I mean, the new answer is this one, and the keyword. So this way I'm expanding the knowledge base. Now you will say, okay, we can do that with the RDS, with any MySQL and so on. Of course, we can do that, but it's not as easy. So it's optimized for tasks like this, right? So I have one related problem with this. Yeah, this one, because I didn't handle the exception here. So now going back to our agent, I think I now improved the way we are handling these messages. Let's test it out. Okay, generate replies. So at this point, I think if you have Telegram installed, you can go and search for Octospell and send some messages there. We will see in the console. So please be aware your username may be on the screen. If you want to be private, do not text it, but otherwise you can just try it here. So let's tell me something about Greece again, please. Let's see. So first we'll say, okay, at this time, I do not possess any necessary knowledge, but I have a breakpoint here that is searching for Wikipedia. Like, I'm letting it go. It's returning the Wikipedia content. It's extracting the relevant sentences from that one. Okay, let's make it. Okay, still have some breakpoints here. Now it's indexing to Solr, right? And I think I have some answers. Oh, okay. This is not an nice answer, but let's see. Tell me about. Okay, France. Yeah. So for some reasons, I think that was okay. Yeah. So I have something France about France, right? That okay. Tell me something about. Let's try something easier from on the Wikipedia. So Vasile Voiculescu is a Romanian author. So, okay, I already had that in the knowledge base. Can you give me a name, Irina, please? Like a Ukrainian author, or yeah, personality maybe?
Let's say Zelensky, yeah.
Let's say Zelensky, I hope. Okay, at this moment, I do not possess anything. Let's see what Wikipedia actually thinks about. Okay, there are a lot of things. The answer is delayed. Okay. Okay, still waiting for Zelensky. So application, it's working. Oh, I have a, okay, but probably it's not from Zelensky. It's from, yeah, it's from Zelensky. Volodymyr Zelensky, yeah, Okay, I think because this URL doesn't work so perfect. The way I'm searching Wikipedia is not working perfectly. It looks like I concatenated something wrong here. I'll try again. Otherwise, we can check for something else maybe. Okay, one have time. No, I think it's it still sales. Okay, maybe we can try for one more try for someone else or something else.
Gucci. Let's try Gucci. It should have at least something about it.
Probably. Okay, I have first to get rid of this of these errors. One sec. Yeah. Still finding this one. Yeah, because I cannot validate the ARG messages. Okay, I can make a way to escape that, but okay, let's see. So Telegram inbox. So somewhere here, what I want to do is just okay, exception. Let me do something that or maybe I can run it without debugging. Yep. Oh, okay. Notable person with surname include Volodymyr Zelensky, president of Ukraine, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I think we have something, right? It's not perfect, but we can work with that, right? Okay, let me show you how this looks like um, uh, in our server. So we have it here. Pacific Ocean, where is Zelensky? Something about France. Content, Zelensky. Hope I spelled correctly. Okay, notable person. Okay, so this is what we already have. Next time you can try. Okay, I still have some issues here. I don't know why. Oh, Andre request. Okay. Yeah. Are you here? The one that called. So thank you for breaking my application. It's a friend of mine. Probably Wikipedia doesn't know anything about you, unfortunately. But uh, we have something about Gucci. Okay. Let's try something else, and that's the last thing I want to show you. That's like a bonus. I hope you enjoyed until now. I don't know, like there was a lot of things, a lot of new things, but it cannot be completed if you don't have any like AI, more intense AI rather than just writing some our algorithm, or if we don't have some graphics, right? So what we also may want to do here with our conversations is we may need to understand better how they work, right? So when I'm printing a message here, what I also want to do is to save to database, right? And I have some classes here, some persistent layers, RDS, which is a method that is doing like saving a conversation and getting some parameters. Okay, someone asked Ajaz 10 asked start. Okay, so we can say hi or we can say anything. We can see here in the console. Okay, so I'm using Hibernate to generate a schema on the MySQL database on a MariaDB actually, and then I'm searching I'm saving these parameters about my conversation, right? So let's check that. Let's go to the agent again and save the database, right? So here we want to do RDS. No, I don't have it wired. So I have RDS. Come on. Yeah, so it's relational, stands for relational database service, right? Okay, so I have RDS save message, and what I want to send to this one is my conversation. I want to send the answer, right? Save it to database. I want to send the what's here. It's a receiver message, right? So we are here on the admin side, on the inbox side, right? So what else we want to do, and I'll do in one shot as well. Telegram delivery, send message. Okay, and here let's see some conversation, and on the decision, decision engine, what we want to do. Okay, we have this decision engine. We have the sentiment analyzer. Let me check if I already implemented it. It's not okay. Let me bring it from the other branch, since we are almost out of time. So on decision engine, we have here, what is decision engine? Oh, and here already. Let me check. So it's compared with demo, show this in working tree, and here it's in core. It's in okay, it's here in decision engine. We found it. So I have this this method which is called sentiment analyzer. Okay, so I already prepared that for the demo, but I thought I may have time to write it. So this sentiment analyzer, what does it's like injecting the sentiment analyzer class from Stanford NLP, and then let's see how that's working. Then it's creating a pipeline that's, I mean, take it as it is. It's creating a pipeline, generating like an empty sentiment. We can play with that. We can do a lot of other things, of course, and even conditionally based on these sentiments. We can then iterate through our sentences and return sentiment. I'm just concatenating the sentiments. I don't do any like fancier stuff here, but I do that against an input text, right? So it's still in decision engine. I want our agent to discuss with the decision engine again and to decide on a sentiment analysis, and then to respond with a message. With a message. So on top of our answer to our users, I'm also adding something about their mood, right? Just to prove that I understand what they say, what they say to me. Input text. No, how is that called? Answer? No, not answer. We need the initial. Wait, what is that? Where I analyze? Okay, it's message text. Okay. Message text. Okay. Let's try it again. And now, Andre, it's time to break my app again with your sentiments. Let's see. So, hello, my dear friend. Right. So it will say probably, yeah, it detected hello, right? So it's a greeting, and then it say, by the way, your mood is positive, right? If I say, hello, my dear, I don't know, enemy, can we say that? Enemy, it's a greeting. No, it doesn't. It's probably disturbed by my dear.
You said my dear, so that's why it considers it as a positive.
But that's not my decision. It's okay. It's Stanford. They say that neutral. That's the sentiment that we're using. Okay, so as you see, we can do like fancy stuff in just few minutes. We can analyze the sentiment. We can fine tune, of course. I showed you that we are saving these messages in database. Let's see them. We have them there. So now if you write something, I will also store them in the database. Okay, let's wait for the interface to be loading. So in this database, what do we have? Okay, it's processing. I don't know why it takes, it's a huge database. Okay, so we have some greetings, we have some questions, we have like some things here. I'm storing them. And so we have two users. It's me and the underrated requester who asked, I don't know what you asked actually. I lost your message, or I mixed them. I think here it should be sent, and yeah, probably I mixed the message type at some point. But if you also want to see the visual, we can use this 3000, this database tool, which is download. Okay, so let me increase the file. Desktop, simpler, apps, database. Oh, it's here. It's in apps. Java, my jar. I don't know why I did not pull that in a Docker jar. Okay, so it's loading. It will take a while. Meanwhile, what we can do is to go to our schema and to update here. So what we have this are done. Knowledge, machine learning, this part. I mean, machine learning, okay, maybe it's a bit too much to say, but it's like we are learning, we are gaining some more knowledge, we're finding that. And we are using some machine learning analyzers that helps us to detect some sentiments. There is a lot more here. Maybe we can do a separate presentation for that. Also for graph databases, I wanted to show you a more visual way to see the conversations, but at least we have like, let me decrease a bit the font. At least we have a flow here. We have the decision maker. We have the core. It's almost fully functional. Okay, let's put a convenient color on this one. We don't want to implement other third parties applications, but we can do that. That was not the purpose, but we can. I just draw them on the architecture, and the graphs, it's maybe subject of a next presentation. Meanwhile, data metabase started. So here I have demo. I have a dashboard that shows me, okay, the type, the message, and the type of the conversations we had, right? So until now, what we had was 76% greetings, 15% questions, say 6.69 default states. So that's the default answers. And here are the users. We can build, based on our relational database, we can build a lot more diagrams like this using database. It's really simple. I'm just taking an operation like this, and let me show you the code. I'm calling a stored procedure, which is called get top users. And in the database, I already declared this get top users. I declared it as simple select. I'm counting message count and user, grouping by user, and ordering by message count. And this is it. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Looks like we have something functional. For only 1 hour, we are able to tell something at least about Vasile Voiculescu, which is a author which is not even so popular, about Zelensky, which is a really nice guy, about Gucci, really popular. We can like detect moods, and yeah, I think this is it. Coming back to the presentation and to Irina. Maybe takeaways, improvements. Okay, improvements. It's on you. So we did this in 1.5 hours. Let's just think what we can do in 6 months with a full team of 5 to 15 developers, maybe more. or data scientists. So a lot of great things can be done. What are the takeaways for today? So uh, you have a list of tech stack that you can use to do a full stack. So you can do anything you want with these tools. Maybe you can add here on the list others, but I think these are enough for a good start. Then the development steps, which I recommend, is to start simple, then to try to make it robust, then make it a bit more intelligent, implement some libraries, and ultimately make it scalable. But this is a matter of architecture. And if you want more details, please get in contact with me. We can discuss more separately. Thank you very much for your attention. I think we have a QR code up here. I'm not sure where.
Let's get back to the feedback form. I think that we hope you enjoyed the talk. This was helpful. We can see that we see some feedback. Let me start reading them out. For everyone who's still there with us, we know we have a bit over limited the timing, but I think it was worth it. We can have like 10 or 15 minutes for the Q&A session. And if you feel like you would like to have some additional discussions on this, feel free to share this on your feedback. Because first of all, it would be great to give your feedback to Lucian on the job that he has
I would
done.
really appreciate. Yeah, thank you.
And also, we're asking you there regarding the topics you would like to hear more during our events, because we have speakers corners on a monthly basis on different topics for different technologies. And this is crucial for us to understand what you would like to hear and what is important for you to learn from our colleagues. Fernando mentioned that it was very interesting. He appreciates your talk, Lucian. Fernando, please don't forget to share your feedback by scanning the QR code.
Can I answer the question, please? Or okay. Yeah.
Yes, Daniel.
Daniel, yeah.
Has mentioned that on the daily basis, isn't low-code platforms such as Cognigy, Dialogflow a better approach, since it can separate the intense training knowledge-based decisions from the source code, and lets developers focus on automation, for example?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mentioned at the beginning also when I said expectation. I'm not sure if you were on the event at the beginning, but of course, low-code platforms are better approach if you are a product owner, if you are a company, if you are a startup. Of course, you don't want to invest money in paying developers to do these things, right? But what if you are Google? What if you are an AI company, an AI startup that wants to build this from scratch, right? You don't want to rely on Dialogflow. You don't want to rely on any subscription. You don't want to rely on cloud. You want to do your own algorithm. You want to do your to implement your own code, right? So yeah, about using this approach in real world. So I did not build such a general purpose chat in real world, but I had like a simpler chat that it's interacting with the customers, and it's providing answer based on some predefined questions. And I also built a natural language processing module that it's acting as a search engine for the customers. So basically, our customers in production, they have like hundreds of terabytes of data. They are handling like really, it's matter of terabytes. And we are handling some indexes with Solr and with Postgres, and based on their input strings, we are searching through the data there. We are building some responses, but we are also parsing and understanding the text, so we can provide them better suggestions and to learn from their inputs. So it's not like a chatbot, but it's like a chatbot in the sense that it's only answering to a single question. You have a search input field there. You type something, you get an answer, and then it learns more and more. It's not contextual. What I did today, it's a bit more complex. I did not implement it in production, but I'm sure it is definitely possible.
Thank you, Lucian. The question from Cosmin: have you used this approach in the real world for a client or your own company?
Yeah, I just answered to that. So we had like a predictive search engine. It's really powerful, and we used based on similar approach. So yeah, it's quite close to
Thank
Chatbot.
you. And Daniel is also asking, have you had the chance to try out the ChatGPT service from Azure?
Of course, who didn't?
Did you enjoy it?
Well, yeah, of course. I even learned a lot of things from that. Last year I had like ChatGPT was not launched yet, but Azure had a lot of services. So I attended to a 6-month course of for artificial intelligence developer, where I learned about these things, and I did also a lot of small projects and POCs for my certifications. So yeah, I worked with both of them. I learned from them, and that's what I try to present here, like in a friendly way, so you can understand how things are working behind Dialogflow or behind this. Of course, they are providing more powerful frameworks, but the in the answer, the essence, the idea is something like this. That's just a POC, of course.